Being nice does not get you girls. In fact, it's probably why you're still single. And guys, I'm speaking from experience when I talk about this because I was always the nice guy who never got any girls. And I'm saying it with this emotion because I spent years struggling with this, man. Let me tell you a little bit about my experience being super nice. In fact, I had plenty of women in my life. I started to meet women from work, from like I was working at a catering company, and I was a chef, and the chefs are kind of cool, right? And I was super confident, right? And we would have these servers come in who would work random events, this wedding and this party and this whatever. And so there was always this influx of new people, and they liked to hire girls. So there would always be these new cute girls showing up to work. And I was the cool chef. So of course I would like talk to these girls, and they would think he's so confident and cool when I was working, because I would show off this confident, cool, masculine vibe. But then if we went on a date, if we interacted in any personal way, I was so nice. I came down so much from that big confident guy that I was when I was cooking. But when I was interacting, I was super nice, and I would hear all the time if I went on a date with a girl, "You were such a nice guy. Wow, it was so nice to meet you." But these are not compliments. This is her telling me that she's not attracted to me. And so that led me to the point where I knew I needed to make a change. But I didn't. I struggled with this in such a for so long, honestly. And it affected not just my dating life, but it also affected the way that I made friends, because I was not polarizing with friends. Right? If you're super nice and you're not willing to like speak your own mind, and you're not willing to tell people what you think and how you feel and how you think life should be and the way that things should be, and give out your ideas, you get left behind by the people who are willing to give out those ideas. You also, to friends, seem untrustworthy because you're not being honest, you're not being fully authentically yourself and telling people what you really think about various situations. You're kind of this doormat that people get to walk all over. They realize dude is a yes man who agrees with everybody on everything because he's so afraid of confrontation. And I spent years like that where people would actively try to use me. I even spent a couple of years, I spent 1 year living with these couple of dudes that thought Brandon has his shit together and makes good money. He could be our third roommate. And they kind of coerced me, truly. Like, I ended up benefiting a lot from this situation, but they kind of coerced me and talked me into moving in with them because it would make their rent cheaper. And they thought that I was someone who was kind of easy to control in a way. So they chose me for that reason. And being a nice guy, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I never wanted to have confrontation with these guys, and we ended up not staying friends. However, this also greatly affected my work environment as well, because I was a chef for 7 years. And for 2 of those years, I was in charge. I was the sous chef, and then I was the executive chef. And when you're in charge and there's confrontation among cooks or other people, it's your job to handle it. And I didn't like confrontation. And I didn't want to make anyone mad. I wanted to be the nice guy. So I was very nice about how I handled the situations. I was very walking on eggshells, very careful not to make anyone upset. And I just want everyone to be happy. And let's just get back to work. And it didn't work. And it made my life hell as a boss. It actually is what pushed me to stop being so nice, because that made my life so hard as the manager, because now I had all this extra work to do that I didn't want to deal with. I started to just be a dick and started to just say, hey, get the fuck over it. I don't care if Sally is pissing you off today. I don't care. We got work to do. Shut up and work. And I just got fed up. But then it never really bled into my dating life because those are two separate environments. So I got better with my friends. I started to be more polarizing by moving out with those guys who coerced me. I said, fuck y'all, I'm out of here. And I made my own decisions and chose my own life and moved in with people who were more positive impact on my life. And then in my career, I started to stand up for myself more. I even stepped down from the executive chef position because I didn't like doing it. I didn't like all the hours and all the work I was doing, and it was really kind of dumped on me. And being a nice guy, I was just like, yeah, I'll do it because I want to appease my boss and I want him to be happy. I want everyone to be happy. I want to be nice, you know, so I'll just do it just to be nice. So I got fucking put in this position where I was suffering, struggling with life. So I put my career in my own hands, and I even started my own business. So I really stopped being nice in those areas. But still in dating, I still struggled with this. And so if I went on a date with a girl, I was so nice and pleasant that we would have these pleasant conversations that made her really comfortable and put me in the friend zone. Yeah, she doesn't sleep with the guy that is making her super comfortable, that she thinks is super nice. She sleeps with the guy that's not an asshole, so he's nice, but he's also polarizing. He also attracts her. He also makes her feel negative emotions as well, because something you should know about the difference between men and women. Now, this is getting a little bit into like a red pill area, and I'm not a red pill supporter, but in the red pill world, they definitely talk about this idea that men are logical and women are emotional. Now, this is not totally black and white and true. The reality is that men and women are both logical and emotional. Yeah, women can like plan a logical trip or whatever and put things together and build a business, and they have done that. They've proven that they can do that. Okay, they're also very emotional. Yeah, men cry as well as being logical. Okay, so this idea that men are logical and women are emotional is BS. But this is a totally different topic. To bring it back to being a nice guy, women want to feel a variety of emotions that men kind of don't want to feel. I'll say that's where it's a little bit of a gray area, and where I kind of agree with the red pill environment just a little bit. And that's that women want to cry. They like the way it feels to cry, but men don't. We don't want to cry, right? Or women like to argue. Because of the emotions that they feel during an argument, they like to feel them. Not all of the time, but they do want to feel them from time to time. While men don't. We don't want to argue. We want life to be smooth sailing, easy, and chill. We want things to be nice. But if things are always nice, you're going to lose your girl. You can't always be nice with your girl. You have to polarize her. You have to tease her. You have to make her feel negative emotions because she actually wants that. And you being the source of that builds attraction within her. Now, I'm getting a little deep and moving into different topics. I'm in a flow state right now, so I'm feeling good. But I wanted to really hark on this idea of why being too nice is a problem, not just in your dating life, but in your career and with your friends and your family. And it's just an issue for your life. But especially in your dating life, you're just not going to attract women always being nice. Now, the opposite of this is you guys have seen the dicks, the assholes who get girls and get laid. I have too. Okay, we all hate them. And I hate them too. But the reality is those guys are not assholes to her 100% of the time. If they were, she would not be with them. She would realize this guy is super toxic. The thing about those assholes that get girls that we all hate is that, yes, they are toxic, but they're not toxic to the girl 100% of the time. If they were, they wouldn't be with the girl. And the reality of that is because the toxic relationships that survive is usually when the toxicity is subtle, not when it's blaring in front of them, right? Not when they come out the gates, first date, dude hits her on the first date. She doesn't go on a second date with that guy. In fact, that guy probably goes to jail. Okay? He has to wait 3 years to hit her for the first time. Okay? The toxicity has to be subtle in the beginning for the assholes to get deeply enriched in a girl's life. So this idea that girls date dicks who are just assholes all the time and always have been is not true. The guy is usually nice, but he's also a dick. That's how you attract women. A balance between the two. You can't always be nice and you can't always be an asshole. You have to find this in between. Now, you don't have to be like those assholes. You can be a nice guy. Like, you can be nice. You should be nice, in fact. But you just can't be nice all of the time. And I'll give you a core example. What's the most cringe, awkward first date conversation topic you can think of? I'll wait. Go ahead and think for a second. Okay, now I'm going to give you mine. If you need more time to think, just pause. But I'm going to give you mine. It's to talk about the weather. All right, how's the weather? What do you think of the weather? It's pretty hot outside, right? These are super awkward topics to be talking about with a girl on a first date. However, if you talk about it in the right way, you can actually talk about the weather with a girl on a date and build attraction. because it's not actually about the topic. It's about how nice and pleasant the conversation is versus is there teasing and flirting and pushing and pulling and attraction building within the conversational topic. So you can talk about the weather if you are also building attraction with the girl, and then you can be successful with her. Guys, if you want more help on this, I actually offer one-on-one coaching where I could take you and accelerate your dating life. If you're struggling and you've never talked to a girl, I'm a pro at helping you because I was the introvert who never talked to girls, man. And I overcame that and became the guy I am today. So if you think that you want to be anything like me and you want some help accelerating to being at that point, just click the link in the description to apply for my one-on-one coaching. The application process is free, but you must apply because I don't work with everybody. So click the link, schedule a time to have a conversation with me. That's the application process, and we'll see if you can work with me one-on-one for coaching, and I can help you in this area. Otherwise, guys, that's all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.